There's something you eat every single morning without thinking about it. A bowl of cereal, a slice of toast, a yogurt with a little sweetness stirred in. Something you have been reaching for so automatically that the question of whether it is actually helping you has never really come up. And if your first instinct is to reach for it again tomorrow morning, stop. Because what that food is doing to your body while you sleep is something most people have never been told. And the moment you understand it, you will never look at your morning routine the same way again. Today, we are going to look at what happens inside your gut between the moment you fall asleep and the moment you wake up. What your gut is actually trying to do during those hours. What stops it from finishing that job, and why the food you eat first thing in the morning is either helping that process or quietly working against everything your body just spent 8 hours trying to do. By the end, you will understand why some of the most informed researchers studying the gut-brain connection have quietly changed the first thing they eat each day. Not because of calories. Not because of weight, because of something happening inside your body every single night that most people have no idea is even occurring. The first thing to understand, and this is the thing that surprises almost everyone, is that your gut does not rest while you sleep. While you are unconscious, while your brain is cycling through its stages of repair, while your muscles are recovering and your memory is consolidating, your gut is running what researchers now call its maintenance window. A nightly cycle of repair, rebalancing, and bacterial activity that does not happen during the day. Only at night, only during sleep, only when your digestive system has been given enough space and quiet to run it. Research published in the journal Organic and Biomolecular Chemistry by scientists at Pacific Northwest National Laboratory established that your gut microbiome, the community of hundreds of bacterial species living inside your intestine, follows its own circadian rhythm, its own internal clock. Synchronized not just with your sleep cycle, but with what you eat and when you eat it. Your gut has a schedule, and the food you eat first thing in the morning is either working with that schedule or against it. Here's what that schedule actually looks like. During the night, specific bacterial species, including Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium, become more active. They produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids, particularly one called butyrate, which feeds the cells lining your intestinal wall, reduces inflammation, and maintains what researchers call the gut barrier, the physical seal that prevents undigested particles and bacterial toxins from crossing into your bloodstream. Up to 60% of the bacteria in your gut fluctuate in abundance across a single 24-hour cycle, according to research reviewed in the journal Acta Physiologica. That fluctuation is not random. It is a coordinated biological process that peaks during sleep and depends on two things: the absence of food in your system and a sufficient supply of fiber from the day before to fuel the fermentation process. Your gut bacteria are doing their most important work while you sleep, and what you eat first in the morning determines how well they finished it. But it is not the most remarkable thing your gut is doing during the night. And this is the part that most people never hear. Your gut is your body's largest source of melatonin outside the pineal gland. Research confirmed in a major gut-brain axis review published through Euroclart in November 2025 found that the gastrointestinal tract produces melatonin at concentrations reaching up to 400 times those found in the bloodstream. Not the melatonin supplement you take before bed. Melatonin produced inside your gut by your gut lining in quantities that dwarf what your brain produces on its own. And that gut-produced melatonin is directly tied to the state of your microbiome. When the bacterial community in your gut is balanced, the melatonin signal is strong. When it is disrupted by sugar, by ultra-processed food, by the wrong breakfast eaten at the wrong time, that signal weakens. A weakened melatonin signal does not just affect how easily you fall asleep tonight. It affects the quality of your gut's repair cycle tomorrow night and the night after that. This is not a one-meal problem. This is a cycle, and the food you reach for every morning is either feeding that cycle or breaking it. Now, here's the part that will matter most to you personally. The food most likely to disrupt this process is not the food you think of as unhealthy. It is the food you think of as fine, as neutral, as quick and convenient and not really worth thinking about. Sweetened yogurt, packaged granola, cereal with a health claim on the box, white toast with fruit preserves. The foods that contain added sugar, not the natural sugar in whole fruit, but processed sugar, the kind added during manufacturing, are the foods that research consistently shows alter gut bacterial composition and promote inflammation inside the gut lining. A 2022 study published in Gastroenterology found that even a single common food additive, carboxymethyl allulose, an emulsifier found in countless processed breakfast foods, caused measurable changes to intestinal microbiota and increased gut discomfort. In 2 participants, bacteria had migrated into the normally sterile inner mucus layer of the large intestine, one of the earliest physical markers of gut inflammation. And a 2024 review of 45 meta-analyses covering nearly 10 million participants, highlighted by Stanford Medicine, found that a diet high in ultra-processed foods increases the risk of sleep disorders by 41%. Not through some slow, distant mechanism, through the gut, through the same repair window your body is trying to run every night while you sleep. The food you reach for every morning is either supporting that window or closing it. And most people have no idea the window exists. And there is one more thing worth understanding, because this is where it becomes practical. The swap is not complicated. Give your gut bacteria something to ferment before you give your bloodstream something to manage. Whole oats instead of instant. A piece of whole fruit, not juice. A small handful of nuts. Any food that contains the prebiotic fiber your gut bacteria use as fuel for the fermentation process that produces butyrate, maintains your gut barrier, and keeps your melatonin signal strong through the following night. Researchers drawing on the work of gastroenterologist Dr. Will Bolsiewicz found that consistent morning prebiotic intake aligns microbial activity with peak fermentation capacity. The bacteria that do the repair work at night are fed by what you give them in the morning. The 2 meals are not separate events. They are part of the same cycle. Your morning meal is not just breakfast. It is the first message you send to a biological system that spent the entire night trying to repair itself for you. What you say with that meal determines whether that work gets to continue or starts over from scratch tomorrow night. Choose the message carefully. Your gut has been listening the whole time. Have you ever changed something you eat in the morning and noticed a real difference, not just through the day, but in how you feel when you wake up the next morning? Tell me about it in the comments. I read every single one, and this is exactly the kind of story this community was built around. And if you want to understand another thing your body is quietly doing while you sleep, something happening not in your gut, but in your blood, triggered by a food most people consider completely safe, the next video is already waiting for you.